So welcome everybody to World of Wildlife for November 2025. This is a monthly gathering of wildlife people around the world. We do this on the 10th of every single month, and we do it at a different time every single month so that we can rotate and allow people to come from all over the place. So we've got people that might be here today from Vancouver or Canada or Germany or England and Malaysia, of course. We've got today we've got someone from WA. We've got Wong from Malaysia. We've got a lot of Sunshine Coast people here. So yeah, all sorts of people coming today. So for those of you that I don't know, my name is Dr. Sarah Pye, and I've been involved with World of Wildlife since the beginning, and Dr. Wong and I started this up shortly after I published a book about him called Saving Some Bears, which is his biography. I'm going to share my screen so I can actually show you a picture of it if you haven't seen it yet. So Saving Some Bears was part of my Doctor of Creative Arts degree. It was part of the output. And I first met Wong in 2012. This was something that we did later in our time together. And then that led to 6 stories about his adventures with different species in the jungles of Borneo. And recently I've just been launching the only book there that's not specifically about Borneo, called Curious Kai Asks Why. This is a story about a young girl that travels around Queensland with endless quirky questions about wildlife. And she meets the real scientists in Queensland who can answer her questions. So that's what I do when I'm not teaching at the University of Sunshine Coast. I'm visiting schools, doing workshops around my book content. And yesterday was actually the launch, the last launch. I've had 3 launches of Curious Kai Asks Why. So if I'm a bit hoarse, it's because I've had a fair amount on. I'll tell you a little bit more about those things I've been doing. But first, let's see if we can pass over to Wong and see if Wong can tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, Wong. Over to you.
All right, guys. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much for having me again, Sarah. It was always great to speak to all of you. I'm currently in Thailand, attending a conference called Wild Animal Rescue Network of East and Southeast Asia conference. So it's an annual gathering for the rescue center who has been working rescuing wild animals, wildlife across Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia. So it's a good events to meet everybody. And then and over the last month, actually, like October and November is a typical conference month because there has been so many conferences held all over the places, and then I've been busy attending conferences as well. Last month, after I came out from Malayo Basin, I'm not sure whether some of you have seen my, you have followed my social medias, and I posted.
I think I'm going to share a photo of you in Malayo Basin because I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Okay, that was me holding the seeds of agatis. It's a very cool, rare coniferous tree in the rainforest, in the lowland rainforest. And this agatis tree is huge. It can grow up to like 60 meters tall. Yeah, so it's a very, very special places. Malayo Basin is also known as the Lost World because prior to the discoveries of this area in about 30 years ago, they thought, nobody have ever been to that area. So that's why they call the Lost World. And then later on, they found out that, oh, actually there are some local peoples been there to do hunting, so because they have found evidence of huntings and abandoned snares or something like that in the area. But anyway, that area is really remote, and it has many beautiful pristine rainforest trees, many spectacular waterfall. And because I was there for only a few days and I don't have the time to really hike up to visit all the waterfall, but definitely it is something that I am on my wish list in the future to visit and spend more time. because Borneo lowland rainforest is really, really spectacular, you know, beside the flora and fauna and the scene, the sounds, and it's really amazing. You have to experience it to yourself to show how amazing they are. And after that, I was went to West Malaysia in the state of Kelantan to attend the ASCM, the associations of what ASCM, oh, I can't even pronounce the full name now. So it's a conference about animal or wildlife medicines. You know, lots of vets attending. So it's a very good opportunity to catch up with people who work with animals, especially vets, and then and also the academic as well. So yeah, I've been attending this conference for what, more than 15 years or something like that. So it's good to catch up again with everybody, and then we have been talking about several potential research project that could happen, and also several researchers who we could potentially collaborate for our future research. And then after that, yeah, it was a crazy trip because that day I morning fly back from Kuala Lumpur to Sandakan, and then that evening I have to fly to Kota Kinabalu, attend another conference called Heart of Borneo Conference. So Heart of Borneo Conference is also the event of the year because it is a conference talking about the heart of Borneo, meaning that three countries in Borneo, in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei all come together to protect literally the middle part of Borneo from being exploited, from deforestation and things like that. And researchers share findings about what they found about in this area and the significance of this area. And then after that, I came to Thailand. Yeah, so attending this conference. Oh, okay. So right after okay. So after that, I also attending another workshop in Lahad Datu, talking about connecting the Sagama River. How to protect the Sagama River. So Sagama River is the river that connected to Danang Valley, the central Sabah Forest Complex, as well as Tabin Wildlife Reserve. Is the two wildlife reserve that got disconnected over the years from developments, roads, and plantations. And then this Sagama River is a potential connectivities that can connect these two areas together. So that workshop is trying to invite the stakeholders in that area and see how we can work together to connect to reforest that whole area along the Sagama River so that wildlife can cross from this side. Huh?
Is that the one on the 21st, or is that another one in between?
So this is right after I kind of lost track of my date.
The only one I was able to find that you were doing was this one, the Voices of the Wild. Is it It's not that. It's a separate one about Sagama River.
Yeah, it's a separate one. And then after that, I went to Tabin to check on Tinom and Pitang, the two sun bears that we have in Tabin Wildlife Reserve under the soft release program. So I went there to check on them. Yeah, so they are doing good. The elephants has kind of the last 2 months or so we have had problem with the elephants herd coming in visiting the camp. It's actually quite scary to be able to walk in a forest where the elephant herd is there. So when the elephant herd is there, we cannot walk the two bear cubs. Yeah, and right now the elephants herd is away, and then so Tinom and Pitang resume their daily walk in the forest. So far so good. It's just that Tinom is getting more and more wilder, getting more and more independent, which in some way is which is a good progress. I would say is, yeah. And then and also Pitang's body weight is slowly catch up with Tinom now, so which is also a good thing. Yeah. So it's just time would tell for these two bears to grow big and grow independent. And at the same time, our team is working really hard in the forest, camping in the forest. Yeah, so that was yeah, so that's until, and after that I came here last week, and that's about it. That was like one month, very, very quick, you know. Yeah, I think I spent more time sleeping in a hotel room than my own house, than my own room.
It's a lot to cope
Yeah,
with, but you're doing well.
yeah, yeah. And then and then I posted a video of my fish at home, and then my friend said, "Oh, wow, my discus fish look emaciated." I said, "Yes, they are emaciated because nobody. Well, I have automatic feeders, but it's never the same as I feed them myself, right? So, yeah, I need to go back soon."
You do. When do you
Yeah.
head?
17,
Okay,
17.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good luck with the presentation you're just about to give. I know you'll smash it.
Yeah. So yeah. So good luck, Elka, and I'm sorry that I will miss your talk. But anyway, I can watch your
Catch
video
up.
tonight or tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You'll catch up. And thank you for being here even briefly, Wong. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. So let me show you the venue since I'm here.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Let me see. How am I going to? Okay. So this is in Amari Hua Hin, So
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
so this is the foyer, coffee table, yeah, and then yeah, a little bit organizer,
Bad.
and then
They're ready for you.
yeah, so I'll be the speaker next online, and then next year we will be hosting this one conference in Sanakan.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it will be on sometimes on November where it is not a peak travel season. So yeah, so next year is my responsibility to host this one conference to get everybody, and the venue will be at the Rainforest Discovery Center in Sapilo. Yeah, so we're looking forward to make it a success.
Yeah,
Okay.
brilliant. Good
All right.
luck.
All right, thank you. I need to go. All right. Okay, bye-bye everybody. Yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.
There he goes. Well, there you go. That was a whirlwind visit by Wong. So I think you can see a little bit about Wong's charisma and commitment, obviously, to saving the rainforest. But these are the things that made me want to help him. So when I first met Wong in 2012, I asked him what I could do to help him save the rainforest. And he came back with 5 very powerful words. He said, "Do what you do best." That has taken me, what, 13 years so far? Yeah, 13 years so far, including writing 7 books about him. And we've become very close friends along the way. So he can't answer any questions for you right now, but if you've got questions about Wong, I'm probably the next best bet. So if anyone's got anything they'd like to know, please shout out. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on what I've been doing this month in regards to wildlife and things. And then we're going to pass over to Elka to hear a little bit more about bears. So I'm like the meat in the sandwich here today. So a couple of things I've been doing in the last month. The first thing was I do workshops in schools. So I visited Emmanuel Lutheran College on the Sunshine Coast and did some work with some of their young people this month. It was really fun teaching them about wildlife, both in Borneo and in Australia, and exploring some of the quirky stuff that we know about animals. It's really fun. You can see on the right that I also even got to put a VR headset on and go swimming with dolphins, which was pretty impressive. Enjoyed that very much. Since then, I also was just absolutely honored to be asked to be a keynote speaker at Telling Stories Awards Night. So this is a Sunshine Coast event that's run by the Rotary Club and the University of the Sunshine Coast. It's one where young people on the coast are submit their stories with a provocation, and then those stories are judged based on how well they do. And there's prizes for all different age ranges. So I was actually given the prizes, which was kind of fun.
Okay.
After a short
Yes, I would. I was just debating whether I'd go along in the weather, but
after doing a short chat about myself and what I do as well. But I'll tell you, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because on that stage was, if you look on the left-hand picture, the man sitting next to me was my PhD supervisor. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking giving a speech to your PhD supervisor. So Ilka, if you feel a bit nervous today, I understand completely. The other thing that I've done recently is yesterday I launched Curious Kai Asks Why in Brisbane. This is a story about a young girl who travels around Queensland, learning from scientists and who can answer her quirky questions about wildlife. So I was joined by some of those incredible people. Sandra, who's here today, was at the launch. It was a really fun event, wasn't it, Sandra? We enjoyed ourselves. The launch event was joined by Sandra Savanini, who's the illustrator. We were joined by Dr. Cassandra Arkanstal, who's the woman holding a bilby there. She's a bilby researcher in outback Queensland. We were joined by Dr. Asia Haynes, who's got her goggles on there, and she runs Project Manta, which is an international project that's studying manta rays and learning more about them than anyone's known before. Unfortunately, Spencer Hitchin, the young man with a camera there, wasn't able to make it, but he's been at previous launches. And the other young lady there is Milani Harris, who is a koala expert and also the young reviewer for Curious Kai Asks Why. So we had all these incredible people there sharing some of their knowledge, as well as me reading some of the narrative that included them. It was a really successful event. I loved every second of it. All right, so that's what I've been doing. On Friday, I'm giving a talk. For those of you that are on the Sunshine Coast, I'm giving a talk at Noosa National Parks. They have a Friday forum that happens once a month, and I'm giving a talk called Borneo Bears and Books. So if anyone here wants to come along, that's an open, free event, and I can share the registration details with you, or the details on how to get there and all that. So send me a message if you're interested. Be really fun to have you there. That's what's going on this week. We've talked about Wong. We've got that. What I wanted to mention for Wong, what he didn't have time to mention, is the picture on the right-hand side there, that they have a special every time. This time of year, the BSBCC has a special for adopting bears. Okay, now, one of the things that I did when I first met Wong was create I introduced him to the University of the Sunshine Coast, and that's led to all sorts of projects, including the one that Ilka is doing now. It also led to, in 2014, me leading a team of public relations students to create the adoption program for bears, which helps Wong raise money and helps the centre grow and do all these incredible works that they do. So this adoption program you can see on this poster is something that we started in 2014. I would love to encourage you guys when you're thinking about Christmas presents this year, think ethically, think sustainably, and think wildlife. So to adopt a bear for a friend of yours would cost you an equivalent of $100 Australian for an entire year, and they'd get an incredible a certificate about their bear. They'd get updates about what their bear's doing. So it's something a lot better than going out and buying something plastic and wrapping it up in paper that gets thrown away at the end. Okay, so consider that as a Christmas present. That's all I've got to say on that. I would like to now introduce you to Ilka. Now, Ilka is an honours student in animal ecology. She has a passion for animal behaviour and all things bears, which I just learned before you guys got here. I learned that one of the things that started her off was Saving Some Bears, my book. So I feel completely chuffed about that, which Ilka read Saving Some Bears in high school. Her research explores how orphaned sun bears in Borneo develop key natural behaviors like foraging, climbing, as they progress through their rehabilitation process. And you heard from Wong that they're actually currently rehabilitating 2 young cubs into the wild, but doing it in a different way than they've ever done before. So the Tarbin Satellite Center is actually in the middle of the jungle, and the bears there are rehabilitated without having the constant contact with humans at the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center. So it's something really new, really different, pushing boundaries. And Ilka's going to tell us all about it, aren't you?
Yes.
I'll pass over to Ilka. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Well, I'm Elka Brown. I'm an honours student. Thank you for the introduction, Sarah. And my project is looking at how the bears are going through rehab and how their behaviour and diet changes as they get older and more independent, using in situ rehabilitation as a method. So I have my supervisors, Beth Brunton, Alexis Levengood, Wong, of course, and Dr. Laura Saunders as well. So, to start off with our team, we are collaborating with the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Centre and Dr. Wong. I'm from the University of the Sunshine Coast, and we also have the Forestry Research Centre in Sepalok, who's helping us with our diet information as well. So the Tarbin Sun Bear project, we are aiming overall to understand more about sun bears, how to make bears wild again, and how the rehabilitation is working. And it wouldn't be possible without the whole team at BSBCC. They do an incredible job. The keepers, like Wong was saying, is living there all the time, dealing with everything from elephants to crazy weather. So they do an amazing job. But my specific project focuses on these two bears. We have Tenem, who is the oldest bear. We've got Pitang, who's the youngest, who's now catching up. And in the Tarbin Wildlife Reserve, we are doing a soft release method. So this is very different. It hasn't been really done before. It's being pioneered by BSBCC. And so this is a completely different way to look at rehabilitation. And so what this is doing is we are hoping to look at the types of behavior that cubs display. And this is such an incredible opportunity to do it, because to find these bears in the wild is almost impossible. It is so difficult to find them. The rainforest is just not able to be traversed. They're super elusive. So this gives us a really good opportunity to see what cubs even do, because they're not even really looked at in captivity at the moment either. We'd like to see how the behaviors change over rehab. If new ones develop, we want to see how their behaviors change as they get more wild, or they get more used to being back out into the wild again. And we'd also like to look at their diet as well. So what do sun bears even eat? When do they eat it? How does it change? There's a lot we don't know about sun bears, particularly in a wild setting. So this is kind of just scratching the surface of that, combined with rehab as well. So what do I mean when I talk about in situ rehab? It's a soft release method. So instead of just rescuing bears, getting them healthy again, and then releasing them straight back out into the wild, this is a way that they can learn the natural skills before they're released. Because unfortunately, just hard releasing, letting them back out into the wild hasn't been super successful. So instead, we're taking cubs that have been orphaned and have lost their mothers from either the illegal wildlife trade or poaching, or for traditional medicine, and we are taking them to the site where they're going to be released, and they slowly get acclimated, they learn the environment, they climb in the area, they forage in the area, they learn how to be a bear again, and then one day they will just wander off. And it would just be like a natural sort of separation, like they would from their mother in the wild. One day they would decide they're independent enough and wander off. So that's what we're kind of hoping. And it's what we're seeing, which is really good. So a little bit about my behavior and how we're analyzing it. This is Tenem, and over the last few months, I have watched over 1,000 videos of her behavior from February 2024 to December 2024. And so I have been recording every behavior that she displays in the videos to try to create an understanding of what she spends her time doing. What does she do the most? How does it change as she gets older? And we want to see the proportion of her different behaviors that she's displaying. So a little bit of an example for what the behaviors we are looking at and how they have sort of developed over time. So this is Tanim in April of 2024. She is starting to learn. So she arrived at Tabern at the very end of January. She only started walking in the forest in February. So this is her still getting used to the environment. She's still a very young cub. She's learning how to climb and move in the different areas. And then we have got her in December of 2024, and you can see just how big of a tree she is tackling now, and the different things that she does as well in the trees is also important. So instead of just focusing all of her attention on being able to climb properly, she is now foraging in trees. She's now resting in trees. And we're hoping as she gets older, she displays more of those behaviors, which means she's comfortable in trees. Because sun bears are arboreal. They need to be able to forage for fruit in trees. They need to be able to create nests in trees as well. So it's really important that she has those good climbing skills to be able to survive out in the wild. And that is what we are seeing through this soft release rehab program. She gets more used to it. She gets more confident. And then eventually she'll be able to do this all on her own. And so this is foraging as well. There's a few different types of foraging that we look at. This one over here is called extractive foraging. So she is using her claws and her teeth to rip apart different either logs, trees, whether she's digging. And this gives her the tools she needs to find insects inside the logs. And technically sun bears are classed as frugivores, so they eat fruit. But we now are understanding a lot more about their diet, and we now understand that insects make up a really large portion of their diet when there isn't fruit available. So she has to be able to forage effectively so that she has enough food in the interim seasons where there might not be fruit available. So that was early in the year, that was March in 2024. And this next video is in December of 2024. And this is actually a stingless beehive. So sun bears love honey. That is one thing that we do know about them. And so she is using her sniffing as well, which is another behavior we classify, to get in there and get the honey out and enjoy that. So sun bears have incredibly long tongues, and so she's using that to her advantage there as well. And this is really positive. It means that she is learning new food sources. We hadn't seen her go for a stingless beehive before this, so that means she's getting those instincts and she knows what to do with them. Now, these were kind of a little bit of a left field behaviors that we probably weren't expecting. We kind of expected climbing, expected foraging, but we didn't expect her to love the water as much as she does. She spends so much time cooling off in the water. I mean, understandable with how hot it is over there. But she really enjoys spending time in water, which is something quite interesting. And we have sort of discovered that over the last few years. More has been coming out about sun bears preferring home ranges that are on rivers and things like that. So something we knew that we know that rivers are important to them. And then this is a different behavior. This is a suckling behavior. So kind of like a child would suck on their thumb, she sucks on her paw for comfort. It's also accompanied by that noise that you might be able to hear. It's called clucking. And this is something that we see with orphan bears who have been separated from their mother too early, usually because they were poached or something similar. And this isn't really a negative behavior. It's just something she does comfort. It's not like a bad stereotypical behavior, but it's something that we see her do consistently to bring herself comfort, which is interesting. So along with the videos, we are also looking at the keeper diaries. So the keepers who work very hard looking after her, running after her through the forest, make entries into a daily keeper log. And so for the past 2 years or so that she's been in Tabern almost, she has daily entries. And so to double check the videos and what we are seeing, I'm also going through the diaries as well. And this is giving us an idea of developmental milestones, which is something that is brand new for bears, and rehab in general. It's never really been looked at before. It was first sort of explored by Dr. Wong and Dr. Boone last year in a paper that they released about a bear cub that was born at the SBCC. But the idea of the milestones is that as she reaches certain sort of physical levels, such as she has her adult canine teeth, we see an increase in certain behaviors. So you can see these are her baby teeth up in this top left-hand corner, and then these are her adult teeth, which she's using to rip apart a very big tree. So this is something that I looked at in my research project that I did last year. And this was one of the graphs from the findings from that study. And so over a 12-week period, the amount of foraging she did increased quite sharply after she developed her canine teeth. And we saw increased independence. And at the end of 12 weeks, she actually did a solo walk out in the forest by herself after that change. So it means that this is something that we know is important. We don't quite know how important it is yet. We're working on it, but it's something that we have noticed that is completely different from what we really expected, and it's really exciting to see that that may be something that we can understand about them as well. And then our diet. So along with behavioral sort of analysis, we're looking at understanding their diet as well. So earlier this year, I went over to the center and I did some scout sample analysis of Tenem and Petang. So this is what the Forestry Research Center over there is helping me identify at the moment. And this is just so we can look at the whole picture of rehab. We want to see how everything changes, and that will help us gain a much better understanding of how the rehab process works, how the bears can get back out into the wild, and what we need to do to keep going with it for more bears into the future as well. And so this is a little bit of a progress indicator for us. So as you can imagine, baby bears have plenty of falls and trips as well. And this was Tenem learning to climb in April of 2024. You can see she tries to hang from one hand a little bit unsuccessfully, which you're about to see. She has a little bit of a stack. But the great thing about bears is they are incredibly resilient, and so she gets straight back up again. But this is kind of how we are looking at her improving. And we know that she's improving because she did the exact same behavior in December of 2024. And you can see just how strong she is this time. She's much more confident. She's able to move her way across to get to the tree that she wanted to go to. And you can see just how much more confident she is in the trees. So it's really, really validating to see that. It means that we are doing a good job and it's working. And it's really interesting to see how her behavior and even her fitness has changed. So how will this help? Why is this important? Well, more sun bear information is always going to be a good thing. You know, sun bears are often referred to as the forgotten bear because we just don't know enough about them. Even last year, we just recently found out that they have a completely different breeding season to every other species of bear out there, and we didn't even know that before. So there's so much that we don't know about them. And as I mentioned at the start, this gives us an incredible opportunity to observe them in their natural habitat. We probably wouldn't see these behaviors out in the wild. It would just be impossible to find the bears. Such as Dr. Wong's been looking at one of the projects of trapping the bears, but we can't trap them. They're just too clever. So this gives us an opportunity to see particularly what cubs are doing out in the wild, which is something we just wouldn't be able to access. And understanding behavior and diet is so important for conservation. We need to be able to understand what they do, where they do it, why they do it, and then that means we are able to conserve them better, especially with the amount of threats that they're under between climate change affecting fruiting cycles in Borneo, and deforestation still being a huge problem. Understanding where they go and what they do is really important for looking after their populations into the future. And so some of our interesting findings so far, we are still in our analysis stage. We're still working on piecing together what 1,000 different behavioral videos mean. But for now, we know that foraging and climbing are the most common behaviors recorded. We know that's what she's doing the most. So again, that's positive. It means she's spending most of her time out in the wild doing the wild behaviors that we want to see. We also know that insects are the most common food item while foraging. So this gives us sort of an insight in there's not that much fruit available. So she's going for what is available, and that is insects. So that's good. We know that she knows how to forage for insects. Sucking on her paw is present throughout the whole year. So this was interesting as well. We kind of thought that might decrease, but we're not seeing any negative impact of that. So it's just sort of a comfort behavior that she continues to do. That might be something she always does as a bear that's had a bit of a rough start. But that's interesting to see as well. And she is gaining independence over the rehab period. Like Dr. Wong said at the start, she is getting more wild, which is the whole point. So we're very glad that that is happening for her. And some key takeaways. So this is, we need to know more about sun bears. And of course, Tenem, this was one of the videos that I watch as a person who's been through 900 different videos. That one's one of my favorites. But we need to know more about sun bears, and rehabilitation is so important for the survival of sun bears in the long term. So getting rescue bears back out into the wild not only increases their population, but it increases their genetics, it protects them into the future, and it means that the bears are back where they're supposed to be. And if that means that cubs can go back out into the wild using this method, that's what we want to see. And sun bears are so different. They're not like any other species of bear, and we need to be able to understand them better to understand how to conserve them better. And we know that developmental milestones are important, and we know that they probably play a big role in maintaining wild skills or gaining wild skills. So this is something that we are going to explore further into the future. And hopefully within the next couple of years, we will have a more present sun bears in the literature. I'm going to be publishing a paper about this when my honours finishes. So hopefully it'll be able to read it then. And of course, I know that's a lot of science, but this is some of the funniest home bear videos that I have gathered over my entire video watching sessions. So these are some of the best ones that I've found. And of course, Tenem is just as much of a human child sometimes. This is her Mission Impossible attempt of transferring to a tree, which doesn't go so well. And there's so many of these, so many falls or missed catches, but she always bounces straight back up, and you see them less and less as we go along. And then this one over here, oops, sorry. This one over here is her enjoying a little bit of a bath. And this was, she loves to shake all over the poor keepers who are videoing her in the water. And you can see she also drinks as well. So she drinks, she has a little bit of a cool off, she has a little bit of a scratch, and then she decides she's a bit hungry, and she's going to come and eat the camera instead. And then this is her enjoying some fig, which is one of Sun Bear's favorite things ever. She'd like to show everyone her fig and enjoy. So it's always nice when you get to see her eating some fruit from the forest as well. And sun bears do walk on their back legs as well. And this is her showing off walking on her back legs. There she goes. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the sun bears as much as I like talking about the sun bears. And of course, a collection of some great photos from across the videos as well. And this project wouldn't have been possible without the BSBCC staff who helped me get through all the scat samples, the Tab and Sun Bear project team who answer every email with all the videos that I send them, Dr. Wong, Dr. Laura Saunders, my supervisors, Dr. Beth Brunton and Dr. Alexis Levengood, the Forestry Research Centre and Sepalok, and of course Tenem and Pitang for letting me watch all these videos of them out in the forest. And thank you, Dr. Sarah, as well, for having me talk. I'd love the chance to be able to talk about these guys. But if you do have any questions, I would love to hear them if you have any. But I hope you enjoyed listening to the sun bears.
That was magnificent. Wow.
Yeah,
Do
thank
you
you.
know what, Ilka? We've had Wong talking about what's been going on with both Tenem and Pitang, and nothing has given us such a depth of what's been going on as what you have just done. So thank you so much. I feel like I know what's happening at Task far better than I have in the last year. So that's really fabulous. I'm sure we all feel that way.
Thank you.
But I'm going to send it out to the audience first. Do you want to stop sharing and then we can see
Yes.
each other's faces a bit better?
There we go.
Who's got a question for Ilka?
When they're in this setting, and obviously the keeper's like right there filming them and things like that,
Yes.
how do they bring them back in and make sure they don't go too far? Like, how do they do that in such a wild setting?
Yeah, so it was initially easier for them because Tannen would usually follow them. But as she has gotten older and more independent, they pretty much follow her now. And so they do sort of call her back at the end of the walks. But if she wants to stay out, she can stay out. That's something that's almost positive. That's almost what we want to see. And recently, in a couple of the videos from 2025, she has even been staying out at night for walks and things. So she doesn't always come back, but when she wants to, when she gets food in her main area, then she'll come back.
So is she learning has she learned how to make nests yet?
Not that we have seen from the recent videos or from the Tabin team at the moment, but she, I would say, is certainly getting much more independent to a level that we will probably see it quite soon. Hopefully. We would love that. We would love to see it.
You showed us all the pictures were mostly of Tenem. Are you studying both bears or just focusing on Tenem primarily?
Yeah, for the videos, we're focusing on Tenem primarily, because we have the most videos from her. Pitang only started the rehab at the start of this year. So eventually I'll probably do hers as well, but once we have a bit more. But for the diet, we are looking at both of them.
Okay, that's awesome. Who else has a question? No, I'm getting in again then.
Hi there. Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, go for it. Angelina, go for it.
Yeah. Sorry, having technical difficulties so much, but just want to say, Elka, that was such an incredible presentation. Not only did I love like the scientific facts behind it, but the videos were so incredibly cute. I absolutely loved it. I was just wondering, like a simple question, how many sun bears are there left in the wild in comparison to how many are like being rehabilitated at the moment?
Yeah, it's unfortunately we don't actually really know how many sun bears there are. They're so hard to find out in the wild. There is a study that was done in 2017 for the IUCN Red List by Scottson et al. And they talked about the estimated rate of decline of sun bears. So they thought that over the past 30 years, there was about a 30% decline in their population. But now estimates for that range about 50% in the last 30 years. So, but that is just an estimate of their rate of decline. The actual population, we don't really have enough data to determine.
Because they're such an elusive creature. I remember asking Wong a similar question quite a few years ago, and his response was that just pretty much what you've said way back then. It was basically we don't know how many, but we do know that there's far fewer sun bears than there are orangutan, and orangutan are listed as critically endangered. The only reason we don't have a critical endangered listing on the sun bear is because we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the 50% rate of decline should be at least an endangered rating, but we just don't have enough on them.
Yeah, it's a scary prospect, isn't it, that?
It is
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, that's really tough to hear, like especially with the orangutans being higher than what they are. It definitely needs some more like social media behind it, really bringing them up.
Yeah, we're doing it. There's lots of different things that everybody's doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering my question. I appreciate it.
Angelina, you might be interested to know that next year, from a tourism perspective, Malaysia, it's the year of Malaysia tourism next year, and the mascot that's being used is the sun bear.
Oh, that's incredible.
The
That's really
mascots are super cute as well. They have them in Sandakan, near the center. They are so cute.
oh, I'll have to search it up because that sounds so wholesome. I hope it's as cute as Tatum because I love the videos from it. So cute.
Oh, that's gorgeous. All right, I'm going to sneak in with a question before anyone else gets in. You said something about learning something new about the breeding process or season. What have you learned? I don't know this one.
Yes, so last year a paper was released in 2024, and I reference it a little bit in the reports that I've done. But they actually found out that because sun bears don't hibernate like a lot of species of bear, they don't actually have a proper breeding season, so they can breed any time of the year. Unlike, your black bears or brown bears that are specifically during the spring season. So that was something nobody had even thought about that yet. So there's
So do they go into heat like other mammals or do? Is it, is there, how does that work?
Yeah, as far as we know, it's very hard to tell because in captivity they are it's so altered in captivity, and that study was done in captivity. But we don't really know what they do in the wild, in terms of that. So they had the best guess that they have just like cycles that they go through, but yeah, they don't know for wild bears.
Wow, that's exciting.
It was very interesting.
Who else has got an interesting one? No, I've got another one.
Go for it.
My last question is about the psychological behavior. So I understand that sucking paws can show trauma.
Yes.
And we've had speakers at World of Wildlife that are working on that using all sorts of different methods in captivity. There's other sort of psychological behaviors that happen like circling and things like that. And I'm wondering if Tenem is exhibiting other psychological behavior problems.
Funnily enough, the only time we have had her recorded showing behaviors like pacing is when she's inside her enclosure for the night.
Okay.
We haven't seen her display any like negative stereotypies like that, like you would see in captivity when she's walking, when she's out in the wild. We haven't seen her display any of that apart from the sucking on the paw. But yeah, the only time they have sort of recorded her pacing or anything like that was when she's waiting for food inside her enclosure. But
Oh, great.
yeah, it's really great because it means that she's so busy foraging or being wild that she doesn't have that negative response. She has enough stimulation, which is really positive.
Well, it's a wonderful project, this, isn't it?
Thank you. Yes, I think so.
Well done for everything that you're doing. It's incredible. And I hope that when you've actually finished your research, maybe you'll come back and give us an update.
Sure, I would.
It's so good. Beth, have you got anything you'd like to add about the process?
Other than to say what a good job Elka's done sitting through all these videos, even though they're all obviously very cute, it has been a major task. And in working through the keeper diaries, she needed to translate because some of them weren't written in English. And so it's been a really big undertaking.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to be able to help the Tatum project because what we're hoping is Elka's work is just kind of the start of the story in tracking the progress of what hopefully is lots more bears going through it, right?
Yeah.
So a really long-term outlook for it. And Elka's done a great job to start things off.
Cute.
Yeah, well done, Elka. Big round of applause for that. That was fabulous.
Thank you.
All right. We've got 10 minutes left. If anyone would like to tell us what they've been up to, it's always a nice sort of way to wrap up the day. So, Meryl, what have you got to share?
I just wanted to ask Elka, I put it up as a question. Is her sucking reducing, or is she just sucking as she used to?
So far from what we've looked at, it stays fairly consistent over the initial sort of analysis that we've done. But they are actively trying to reduce her doing that. So by the time we get through all the analysis, we may see that reducing, which is kind of what we'd like to see. But we haven't been able to encompass everything yet. We've done the videos, we're starting the diary, but once we have the full picture, we'll be able to see it more.
Good question. Anyone else want to share what they've been up to this month? You're getting shy now. I know.
I'll do a little hello. My partner and I just started a Australian wildlife conservation organisation and charity called Wildlife Allies, and we're like officially registered. And all the boxes have been ticked. So this is our first sort of official month of existing.
Oh, how exciting! And what's your sort of vision?
Oh my gosh, it's so multifaceted because we just have so many different areas. But one of the main things is really connecting the community to conservation. So really trying to get everyday people that don't have science backgrounds and things kind of sharing like what they can do and how they can help and educating them on everything. And we've got like beach cleanups and things like that just to kind of kick off. But the first sort of fundraising project we have is getting essential supplies to independent wildlife carers. So at the moment, someone asked us for 150 ml urine sample bottles. That was their request. That was the first one as well. So
awesome.
Once we're going to send them 100 of these bottles that they need and a big stash of F10 disinfectant and yeah, help them with all the possums and wombats that they're currently rehabbing.
That is a wonderful thing. Well, we would love to hear more about what you're doing, and maybe you can come and tell us more about it in another month as well. Are you happy to do that?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Fantastic. Peter, hello. You sort of come in just at the tail end here, mate. Did you time it? Did you time it wrong?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, sir.
Oh, well, you've missed an incredible talk and you've missed some incredible videos from Ilka of Tenham. So you're going to have to catch up a bit later, I think.
I will. Yep.
Yeah. Jenny, anything happening in your world?
Broke my hand.
Oh, no.
So as a result, I haven't really been doing very much.
No.
No, I couldn't even make it to your launch yesterday.
Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry about that. That's not good at all.
No.
Oh, dearie me.
You don't realise how much you need your right hand.
It's true, isn't it?
Even when I'm learning to do more voice to text to be able to communicate, it's like I think with my hand. I just find it so much easier to type it up than to speak it.
Oh,
frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, keep us in touch with how you're doing.
Yeah, but I thoroughly enjoyed tonight. It was really,
yeah, it's
really
lovely, wasn't it? Yeah. Sandra, anything to add about the shorebirds?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
In relation to the pied oyster catcher pair that we're watching at Banksia Beach on Bribie, they're demonstrating a phenomenon known as nesting site fidelity, which basically means they have to nest in the same place every year. That's all they know what to do. But that site has been overtaken by construction and a whole suburb. So they were using the last little bit that hadn't been developed, but it's now being developed. So they've now got a 3-week-old chick that they're raising in amongst all the construction vehicles and on huge piles of dirt that are going to be used for landscaping. It's very precarious. But thankfully the companies are required to be aware of wildlife and particularly chicks. So what they're offering to do is have wildlife advisors on site and they'll organise if there are areas that can't be constructed on. So it's a very tight experience. But so far, the chick's doing well.
Oh, well, that's at least a positive, I guess. But thank goodness you're watching and keeping the guys.
And lots of negotiating happening.
Have you?
Mm.
Oh, will you be able to tell us more next month, I hope?
Yeah, should be able to. Yes, yes. Okay.
Good. Denisha, is anything you'd like to tell us about? No, I think we're about ready to wrap up then. So next month we will be meeting again at the same day. I'll send you all an email with the time, and David McKenzie from the Queensland Koala Crusaders will be talking to us. He won't be talking to us specifically about koalas. He'll be talking to us about photography in conservation, which I think is a subject that we're all a bit interested in. So hopefully, especially you, Sandra, with the shorebirds, you know, you're actually having to take photos for evidence, aren't you? So there's a lot of ways we can use photography in conservation, and we'll learn a bit more about that next month. But thank you, all of you who haven't been here before. You're all now part of this community, or family, if we can call it that, and we would love to have you back as often as you can be here. In the meantime, let me just pop up some ways that you can connect. Watch the video. If anyone's wants to share this video, then it will be up on the YouTube channel in the next couple of days. So feel free to share that with absolutely anyone. Let's get everyone knowing how wonderful sun bears are. Make sure that you connect with me as well, and I'll on all those other socials and things like that. So it's been a delight meeting the new people here and seeing some old friendly faces. So thank you very much for being here.